that after I've had a year of your home cooking. The recipe is low fat, and I've only used natural sugars. Besides, a little of what you fancy does you good. And what happens if you have too much of a good thing? Nina asked. Bryn patted his stomach. If I'm anything to go by, you won't be gaining weight. There was a note of pride in his voice, but then a thought occurred. But that's only because I was turning into a bit of a couch potato before I met you. I'm not suggesting you need to lose weight. Nina gave a soft laugh. Don't panic. I know what you meant, but I could stand to lose a few pounds. Believe it or not, I was once as slim as Scarlett. And she has you to thank for her looks, he said, sounding serious all of a sudden. You are, without doubt, the most beautiful woman I've ever met, Nina. When she held his gaze, Nina felt such a rush of love that it took her breath away. She knew they were still in the honeymoon period, and there would come a time when they would settle into a comfortable life. But right now, she wanted her husband, and he knew it. The air fizzed between them. The kids will be home soon, he said. Letting out a frustrated sigh as she took control of her desires, Nina said, I know. So what else have you been up to? I hope you've had a chance to get your head down. A few hours, once I knew the kids were off okay. Bryn worked the late shift for a local cab company and was out from early evening until the small hours. Before taking on the responsibilities of a family, he would have returned home and gone straight to bed, not rising until midday. How were they this morning? Nina asked, having set off for the market shortly after Bryn had come home. I wouldn't go as far as to say they were raring to go, he said. But they were both up in time to eat breakfast, even if Scarlet did have to rush to catch the bus. Liam was his usual leisurely self, so if he was running late, I didn't notice. Nina scrutinized Bryn's slate grey eyes. He was painting a picture of average family life that didn't quite fit with her household. For most of their young lives, her children had endured an absent father and an overworked mother, who had either dragged them out of bed to stay with a childminder, or more recently, left them to their own devices in the mornings and hoped for the best. Liam was the oldest at 17, and Scarlet 2 years younger, and despite the challenges of single parenting, they had all been happy enough with their unremarkable lives. Nina wasn't sure if her children had ever considered the possibility that she might find a new man. Bryn had been her one and only serious relationship since her divorce. Their reaction to his sudden appearance had been muted, and while they hadn't gone as far as refusing to accept Bryn into their lives, neither had they welcomed him. Liam had continued with his usual routines, which rarely involved leaving his room. For the most part, his acceptance had been less tangible. Scarlet, on the other hand, was more aloof than hostile. Nina had watched anxiously as her daughter attempted to work out how, or even if she should, acknowledge Bryn's intrusion into the family. Aware that the idyllic family life of her dreams was still a work in progress, Nina asked, Did you actually see them? I piled a plate high with toast to tempt them, he said, in a low hush, as if he were a naturalist out in the field waiting for a glimpse of some rare species. Using a newspaper as a hide, I heard the female approach. The fridge door opened. Orange juice was poured, and there was the distinct crunch of toast. When I looked up,